but God is love. God is love. Love isn't love. God is love. Because when you take God out of the equation, then love becomes whatever you want it to be. And all of a sudden you can make anything into love. You can use that, misuse that term, use that term. Love can be whatever you want it to be. But when you understand that God is love, and we're humble enough to approach God the Father in prayer, like, when the Pharisees came to Jesus and they were asking him questions, and Jesus said to the Pharisees, he said, because you say that you see, shows how blind you are. But if you were to say you cannot see, then you would truly understand. And I love that passage. I love that passage. It's a humbling process, admitting we don't have the best ideas. We don't have the best plan in place. But yet, when we come to God and we understand that God is love, and I want you to understand that I don't just say these things to say culture is wrong. I don't just say these things to say people are wrong, and I definitely don't say these things to say we as a church should be malicious and point fingers at some of these people, but we as a church are to love people with all the affection that is Jesus Christ. And that includes loving them, welcoming them at your table, but also loving them enough to share with them the truth that is God, that God wants the best for our life. And I believe Paul so perfectly put it in, and I love this passage in Philippians chapter 1. I'm going to start with verse 3 through 11. It says, I love this, that really Paul, in the books that Paul wrote, in the parts of the Bible that Paul wrote, he so often addressed himself as an apostle. Like, that's how he started as an apostle. All but 2 books, and this book being one of them, where he begins almost with this prayer. And he said this, I thank my God in all my remembrance of you always. I thank my God in all my remembrance of you always, in every prayer of mine, for you all making my prayer with joy because of your partnership in the gospel from the first day until now. And I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. It is right for me to feel this way about you, because I hold you in my heart, for you all are partaking with me of grace, both in my imprisonment and in my defense and confirmation of the gospel. For God is my witness. And I love this part. He says, for God is my witness, how I yearn for you with all the affection of Christ Jesus. And it is my prayer that your love may abound more and more with knowledge and all discernment, so that you may approve what is excellent, and so be pure and blameless for the day of Christ, filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God. Man, doesn't that just like, when he says like, man, I long for you, I pray for you with all the affection that is Jesus Christ. That just brings it to a whole nother level, like, that, man, and Paul truly loved, you could tell Paul truly loved the people that he was writing to. So the first part of prayer is humility. Our posture in prayer needs to be humility.